Thanks. We are live. I am cammed up. So, first things
I'm here. I'm here.
okay. I want to try a couple things because nobody's in here. So let me see.
Hey,
You didn't figure out a thing, huh?
no,
It's really easy. It didn't help.
it, I guess the picture was too big and I couldn't scroll to
Uh,
say use or whatever.
where is? I hear kitty.
Get down, Thor.
Well, there's a one in here. I wonder if that's you registering you now. For anybody watching this now or later, uh, we're going to try and keep the profanity down. But I am a smoker, so you will see smoke. Um, let's see. Haha, look at that.
Yeah,
Can you see it?
yep,
My name?
yes, I see it.
Let's see. So let me do this. I'm typing now. Can you even see me?
See you where? I see you.
You can still see me? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to please stop.
Hey, hey, look at that at the bottom.
Uh,
Now, make sure you got your volume down a little bit.
is that good?
And tell me, can you hear me fine?
Yeah,
Well, no, I have it further away.
yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I'm trying to see where I have to do it later, but where I can put pictures and videos in there. I got the
Mm,
banner working.
yeah.
Can you try and type a comment so I can
In
see
the
if it comes
chat?
up?
Um,
Oh, you're in the private chat.
no, I just did chat. Oh, I gotta go to comments? It won't let me.
It says hello in the private. Well, maybe because you're in here with me.
It says chat with everybody in the studio. Where'd you go? You're gone.
There we go. I'm back.
There you are.
Okay.
I guess
Hello.
nobody's
Can you
here
see
yet.
me? What?
Yes, I see.
All right. So as I fart around, show logo. I don't care. One day, maybe a logo. Oh, there's the video clips. Background music. I don't need any of that. I don't hear anything.
I don't know.
Hey, hey, look at that. So I can press that. Cool. Now, given it's the eve of Samhain, I'd like to first say Halloween 3 is great. Put aside the name. What?
I just said,
Okay, but I thought you were talking.
No.
Scared me. Well, I was mid-sentence. Okay. I guess we're moving on then. Um, as I was saying, Halloween 3. It's a very debated movie. But even people like the cinema snob will say some of the best, even with all the other ones. Now, given Halloween Ends came out, when we sat through it, I'll give us that. Is 3 really that bad? You know, so is the Thorn Cult in 4, 5, and 6 that bad? And since nobody's watching and nobody's going to see this, Miss Jamie Lee Curtis, if you if you can hear me through your mind, when people like Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton come up to you, just say thank you, because you're dealing with royalty almost. By the way, Mrs. M,
Yes.
you can hear me.
Yes.
Well, all I hear is but. Oh. I looked it up, and Scout Taylor Compton is 5'2". Danielle Harris is 5 even.
Oh, she's shorter than me.
Well, what are you these days then?
5'3".
Okay. Well, I guess that's why they wear really, really tall heels. But you can tell Danielle is short by when she stands next to anybody. But we're
Right.
short people too. And apparently we're shrinking because I was 5'7", now I'm 5'6". Oh, you know what?
Huh.
All right, I'll do it in a minute. I forgot. I wanted to check on a TV how it looks, but I forgot you can't look on that one.
No.
But
I
that's
can go in the
okay.
room and check.
Well, you know what? I'm going to start with you then, since you can hear me.
Uh-huh.
The questionnaire I would give to guests or such and such. And
Okay.
I assume you're the one viewer, but if anybody shows up, I'll put the link in the chat. Um, just taking the 6 big horror franchises: Jason, Michael, Chucky, Pinhead, Leatherface, and Ghostface. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You have those 6 doors in front of you. Which universe would you go to? Because, by the way, all things considered, you could go into Jason Friday 13th and not go to Crystal Lake, but he can travel. So can Mike. Um, and so what would you say? By the way, mine is Scream because they're humans.
Yeah, I probably would go with Scream as well.
Even though in the movies they're a little overpowered at times, like in the last one, that chick who's 4'1" lifted up Dewey and gutted him. It's like, okay, no, you didn't.
Mhm. Right.
But yeah, I excluded a lot. Obviously, like Candyman would be here, but
Mm.
you just don't say the name, I guess. We know Pinhead in the box. No, thank you. Box away. Um, if see the Halloween's so out of whack, Michael went to California in an episode. He can go wherever he wants. But I guess if you're not in his path or related, whatever it is, or in his house, you're doing fine, right?
Right.
So we need to catch up on our Chucky and our Pinhead. We've seen every Halloween now,
Yeah.
every Freddy and every Friday.
Yeah.
We have not seen the Texas remake thingy,
Mm. No.
and heard it's not good. Obviously, we all heard it's not the
Wait, which
best.
one? The one that was on Netflix?
The only new one, yeah, the one where he's in the bus and the guy says, "You'll get canceled if you do anything." That one,
Oh, yeah.
and that's fine. Um, Let me see something. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, let's see. Can you see this? Type. See. Oh, look. Our numbers went up to 3, Mrs. M. There's somebody
Uh,
watching. Now,
ooh,
so, okay. We've done that. Now, which of those 6 avenues of those movies are you the most comfortable rewatching? Like, I can put in, you see Halloween Nightmare, you know, and watch it over. What's the most comfortable for you? Because, like,
the what?
Jason movies can get goofy and Freddy can get goofy. Michael can be a little rough, like, you know. Hey, 6 drops. What is up?
I
If,
would have to say the one that I can't really watch would probably be Hellraiser because it's too gory.
you won't watch,
I mean, I will watch them, but
no, I'm saying which is the most you have fun rewatching. Just like,
uh,
oh, I'm gonna, it's
yeah.
Halloween. I'm gonna watch a Friday 13th, or I'm gonna watch a Halloween.
I mean, I probably would watch Halloween just because it's Halloween.
Well, okay, you're not understanding the question, I guess.
No,
But
I would rewatch all the Halloween.
before the others.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
I mean,
that's
some of
fine.
them are a little stupid, but
Well, the Halloween ones, to me, the difference with that and like Friday is Friday and even Freddy literally tell jokes, look at the camera, people break the fourth wall. I mean, he's literally, uh, uh-oh. Do you know who this is? Can you see that comment,
yeah.
honey? You know who
Hello,
that
how are
is, right?
you? Yes, I
What?
do. You tell me all the
Nah, I'm
time.
not. We won't say a real name, but hello, Uncle Guns or Gus, whatever you're going by these days. I'm glad you found us, bud. I hope you're doing all right over there. You'd be surprised what's going on around here. Max says hello. We're not gonna be doing a big show, so I didn't throw out like the invite to him just yet because we're all going through some busy stuff, as we could say. Um, but I'm always glad to see Uncle Gus come back. Brother Bones checking in for spookiness. That's right, driving and listening. So many participations. Uh, what poetry from one of our old friends. And I'm trying to remember. Well, anyway, um, Texas Chainsaw. Matthew McConaughey, that movie, the fourth one, third and fourth one are really goofy. Really, really
Yeah.
goofy. With Halloween, you don't get that. There's really no. There's some jokes here and there, but so that's why I say it's really up to you, up to everybody's personal things. Like I can watch Hellraiser over and over again, despite the tearing of flesh and the ripping of ears off, and people swear if you watch the first one and you see the Pillar of Souls, there's a butt on it. But I think it's just flesh.
Uh,
But we can say we started to watch the new Hellraiser, firmly enjoying it so
yeah.
far. We haven't even seen Pinhead yet. So, but I'm really excited because, and spoilers a little bit even for us, but Mr. D, who did see it, commented. I said, "Do they mention anything about the others?" He said Frank Cotton comes up, Kirsty, the names at least, and
Mm,
I'm like, okay, okay, but I don't know. That first kill was off to the side and blurry. It was kind of weird. Um, I enjoyed it so far, and if anybody doesn't know, when it comes to the horror universe, Nightmare on Elm Street, that house exists. I won't go near the door because I want to get sucked in. Um, and we could, no Elm Street. Although, as Freddie says, every town has an Elm Street. Of course, we're next to an Elm Place. We know somebody who lives on there. Even Uncle Gus
yeah.
over there has been in that house, but that they sold that stuff. So like I said, with Mike, Haddonfield, if you stay out of there, stay out of his way, he might be all right. But he will go, him and Jason, they'll just go right through you. But
Mm.
my point is always fine. Those guys will at least kill you a little quick. Now, the new Michael Myers, I don't know, he's pretty vicious. Like, they made him a little Rob Zombie gun happy. And a lot of people, by the way, have noticed, just like I did when we were watching it, and you guys, that there's a lot of Halloween 2-ish. Rob Zombie's age 2, by the way. That's, a little low.
Mm-hmm.
Mike was never like, it made him too rough. Anyway, let's move on. Texas Chainsaw, stay out of Texas. They don't really move around, but we're right next to Texas, and that can, Um, see, Friday 13th, stay away from New Jersey, but he went to Manhattan, he went to space, everything in
Right.
between. Um, again, he'll kill you pretty quick, might hurt a little bit, but when it comes to the demons, we got Freddy and the Cenobites. Now, Freddy will, crack a joke and maybe cut you up, but he's going to get to it pretty good. That's why I won't mess with that box, because I do not want it to go on for God knows how long, and then somehow I get brought back to a bloody mattress or something. I just watched Hellraiser 2 the other day. Well, you saw I was watching.
Yeah.
Now, everybody was waiting for, Halloween. Now that that's come out, I don't really know what we're going to be waiting for, horror-wise. Everything's on TV, or... that was the thing, like, Terror Train, the new one's apparently a to-be movie. Because we watched
Yeah.
that trailer, and it's like, okay, it's been long enough you can remake that one. They remade Prom Night, that didn't work. They remade The Stepfather, that didn't work. But just like that Black Christmas they made horror movies PG-13, and it's like,
Yeah, you can't
what are
do
you trying to
that.
prove here? Right, The Stepfather remake with the guy from Nip Tuck was PG-13, and just showed more of the girl in her bikini. It was really weird. Because we're
Mm.
fans of the old school. And Uncle Gus, if you're still listening, Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw 2 actually did a nude photo spread with a chainsaw around her. And you have to pay, obviously, but it was funny to know she did that. She's a little skinny, but I'm a big fan of hers. She dyed her hair blonde, but okay. But yeah, she's in The Stepfather Part 2. And fun fact, it's either the Renee Zellweger Texas Chainsaw 4 or 3. Caroline Williams shows up as she's a reporter, but same character. She said it's the same character that is in Texas 2. Now, also, she's in one of the Hatchet movies. I think it's the one we haven't seen, the third one.
Okay.
She plays like somebody's mom. And I just want to see it because, Danielle Mrs. Harris directed it. And she's hitting the circuit right now. There's a lot of horror circuits, obviously. Didn't come here. I think Texas is the closest they come. Now,
Mm.
we're on the eve of All Hallows Eve. Anybody does catch this before tomorrow, be safe. Keep it simple. Keep it safe. If you get that reference, nod to the people. Now, given that, what's important? If you think one like Halloween 2 from 1981, Dr. Loomis gives a whole speech about Samhain and how they would burn criminals and the insane, and they think they could see the future. Then you fast forward to Halloween 3, And Colonel Cochran literally just runs with it. The planets are aligned. We stole a piece of Stonehenge. Awesome. Now, I I'm a fan of that one. Love that movie, but I've always separated it. I didn't. I could tell you, me and Max used to just call it Season of the Witch, the one with the witch on it, and
Mhm.
we knew, like maybe because movies like Creepshow are anthologies, but like 4 or 5 stories in one. So we were kind of ready for it. And it was cool, and I once again, if you go on the channel, I did a whole video retrospective on how they could move it up to the modern age. And anybody who knows me personally, when Halloween Ends happened, I said, "Oh, Silver Shamrock Mask," and then. And what happens? David Gordon Green, who wrote the movie, said there were scripts with the Silver Shamrock Factory in it, making masks and making Michael masks too. By the way, and there's a fan film you can look up where they take the end of the actual Halloween Ends movie and zoom in, and there's a Silver Shamrock thing on the mask. It's really cool, and it's just funny because I talk about that movie, and they wanted that the fonts even in that movie is blue because of it. But they got their trilogy out the way, and he said, and I quote, they wanted the third movie to be a love story in the end, which we got with Officer Hawkins and Lori.
Right.
Although, but
I was thinking Kyle and the granddaughter.
well, that with Corey,
Yeah.
you, you say Kyle, I think,
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
Corey, the bad guy in the movie, yeah. But it's funny. I've watched a couple first time reaction people, and they're like, "Why is there this horrible toxic relationship in this movie?" And I'm like, "That's a good question. I don't know why they did that, but he wanted David G. Green wanted a love story at the end, and it's like, no, why not sprinkle that in from middle of kills? Or they should have really saved stuff like him being jumped by the neighborhood for the last movie. That'd have been a little more interesting. Then you take out Tommy and the sheriff and
Right.
all the go getters. But so yeah, and I've also seen people watch it who like it, who enjoyed it, and some people who get what they were trying to do. For us, you can look up for anybody. There's nobody watching, but this will still be on the channel. There's a great YouTube channel called We Watch the Movie. And to Mike and Jay, we watched one of their trailers called the Redneck Blair Witch Project. You can see that on our channel. But if you go to their channel, they're great on updates. They're probably some of the biggest Halloween fans. And they have read scripts that weren't used. And I brought this up to you guys, so I'm just going to bring it out here. When before H2O was made, it was going to go straight to video because Jamie Lee didn't sign back on. And one of the scripts was called Two Faces of Evil. And I think it was going to be the kid from Jumanji who was in the movie. Remember?
Hmm.
He was going to pull a Corey and pretend to be Michael, and that would draw the real Michael out. When Jamie Lee Curtis signed on, they said, okay, and put it back to a theater run and shoved money in it. Now, that's a fan favorite, but to me, it's just a mediocre one in the bunch because half of it's him walking around, not even scary, and then he and siblings fighting to all hell.
Right.
And then they, cut his head off. It's not his head. Jamie Lee Curtis hated that, and I'm like, what do you think? Now, I would still like to know how the Mustafa Akkad, who now it's his son because he passed RIP in a horrible situation. But his clause was you can never kill Michael Myers. And they just did. So,
Right.
remember I sent you that timeline page?
Yes.
I mean, look how ridiculous. Everybody's like, okay, we'll just do one and two and then our movies. Then they just stop doing two and whatever. Nobody there's that. What side are you on? Do you like them as siblings or you don't? Anybody who knows us or saw our review on Ends, we enjoyed that because it gives a little reasoning. And, like we saw in the movie, he wants to go home, but
Right.
can stare out the window. And just for the record, because this is on camera here, I think a cool ending would have been for Laurie and Michael to face off, not in the house though, at that they can be in the metal yard or whatever, but she planted a bomb of sorts and says the line from two, Michael, it's time. The look vaporizes both of them. There's nothing left. Wait,
Mm.
no, he went in a fucking, excuse me, I cursed. I'm sorry. He went in a freaking meat grinder for cars. And mark my words, the blood is going to leak onto Corey somehow. We're going to get Halloween and Return of Corey. But nobody believes it's the end of
Artery.
it. Hmm?
Bled to death.
Oh, he got, wow. Michael transferred some of his evil, maybe, and his invincibility. Let's face it, Corey got stabbed by Lori or shot. Then he stabbed his own neck, and then Michael tore his head half off, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I think
but he
Michael
was
stabbed
still,
him.
well, he was still alive after he stabbed himself in the throat. So, but I think honestly, they're not going to go back to this timeline in any way. Now they could. Allison is still alive, but Michael in that universe is toast.
Right.
Everybody's wondering what's next. I just hope it's not a complete reboot, and don't give it to Rob Zombie.
Oh, please
He
no.
makes his own great movies, but like when that came out, people were like, oh my god. I said, did you see House of a Thousand Corpses? What did you think he was going to do? Make his love story? No. He also didn't have to make it as dirty as that, but hey, he's the director. He had the right to do it. And John Carpenter told him, do it your way. I wouldn't have done that. But it's funny, if you watch Rob Zombie's movies, he did stay truer to the movie than he could have. Like some of it's shot for shot. And he put
Right.
Danielle Harris in the movie, so he gets points for that. And she lived through the first one, unlike Annie and the other one.
Right.
So, as we go into the time of Samhain, what was it, 2 years ago? Me and Dee went to find the hangman's tree and try and mix it up a little bit. But
I think that was
this
last
year,
year.
well, we did find that altar for the Day of the
Yeah.
Dead people, and it was spooky, by the way, because it was very well maintained in the middle of nothing. But, well, that's those bricks from that fort, but whatever. This year, due to medicals, I might be sidelined, but, we're going to try and make up for it. It's sad that we just had it on the weekend, and we won't get, what, another 5 to 10 years? We'll get it on the Saturday again
Right.
or Sunday because it's Monday. He's is Cool Dude Rem off Tuesday?
No, they don't do that no more.
They don't do the All Saints Day thing
No.
anymore. Okay, I was just curious. So let's see. Back to the horror. I will say now that they did they did a successful run with a Halloween tag on.
Yeah.
Like we said, hmm?
I just said yeah. I agreed with you.
Okay, well, I don't. Sometimes it's. I think you're trying to add something in, and I don't want to miss it. But anyway, like we said, Texas Chainsaw tried, and that didn't work. So the two big ones, though, Freddie and Jason, we haven't heard anything. Like usually, you hear, well, there was a script, there was, this leak, and this director wanted nothing. Robert Englund's the only one he's been speaking up, but he still wants a prequel where it's like the first quarter of the movie's in the courtroom to show what happened there, which you can see in Freddy's Nightmares if you watch that. But
Hmm.
I don't think we want to see that. You know, I
Well,
don't.
didn't the remake do that?
Not court. They showed
No.
the burning,
Oh, okay.
but not. They didn't even bother with that. It looks like they didn't even say like they just said he left town, and they didn't want to say they burned him, but they showed that, but not the famous story from the first one where he got off on a technicality. And it's like,
Mm.
yeah, if you want to show like if that's your opening scene, sure, I'd love to see that as an opening scene, but I just hope now again. Another that one everybody was fine with Jackie Earl Haley. Some people had problem with the prosthetics. He was made them more look like the burn victims. But again, it was like one of these remakes where we're gonna pepper it with Easter eggs and nods to the old one. But then, famously, the scene where he's supposed to come to the wall, they did CG and it looked like poop. Nobody really enjoyed that one, but I enjoyed the darker Freddy aspect. But I'm maybe a little biased because I like to tell people like Mr. D, who's a little younger than us, by the time we could go to the theater and see a horror movie without trouble or whatever, we were into the latter sequels of all of them. Halloween 5 on, Friday 6 on, Freddy. Well, I remember seeing 4 on for Freddy in the theater, and Halloween 5, yeah, all like going downhill in that aspect. Were not good, not great, horrible. Everybody knows Halloween 5 and 6 had their problems. Um, Paul Rudd, you know, it's in there. We
Nice.
just noticed today Adam Scott is famously in Hellraiser Bloodlines. You did recognize him today, huh?
I recognized him the other day when we first watched the review of it.
Right. Oh, that's true. And then so if we go down that little ring, we saw Katherine Hagel in Bride of Chucky. You've
Hmm.
got famously Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th. Mr. Jack Sparrow in Nightmare. And then what was it? That Netflix show that broke down all the, the horror movies. They had It was really interesting that all the people hired for the first Friday the 13th were, well, not all, but almost all of them were like either related to somebody famous, did something with somebody famous, and that's how they got the job, or they were classically trained on the theater. That's why that movie's so well. I mean, that and they didn't even have a script. The director put out the name Friday the 13th in the newspaper just to see if he gets sued. Not only did he not get sued, he started getting calls from Paramount and everybody like, "Oh, this looks cool. What you got? Like, what's the script? What's the story?" And he's like, "Oh, we'll tell you later." That's why in that movie there's a lot of nothing going on half the time, you know.
Mm.
And people, you know, A lot of people point out that Halloween, some of the Friday the 13th are boring. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. But Halloween's supposed to be that way. It's a slow burn. You know, it's predicated on the music. You got, let's, oh, by the way, the Texas Chainsaw movie. Um, I got to see, 3 and 4. Then talk about a bunch of remakes, prequels, and we saw all of them. The Jessica Biel one, the Jordana Brewster one, which is funny because the Jessica Biel ones are supposed to be a remake, and the one with the other crew is a prequel to that movie, not any other ones. And then the ones with Boobs McGee, what's her name? Alexandra Daddario,
Uh
where
huh.
she famously is cousins to them. I was gonna say pin it to Leatherface. It says, do your thing, cuz," and that's the one with Scott
Mhm.
Eastwood, by the way.
Yes.
And that one they skewed the timeline with like her age compared to whatever. But I still want to see the one where it's called like Leatherface something something, but it's the origins of him as a kid growing up. That's the one where they give him a chainsaw as a present for his birthday. Kind of interesting, but that one I think had the worst going for it because if you watch the Matthew McConaughey one, by the way, Viggo Mortensen's in the third one. They're kind
Yes.
of goofy and ridiculous, even worse than some of the other ones. But that's why I think we like 2 so much because it is just off the wall, and you get a new brother, Bill, famous
Which
Bill
one is
Mosley.
two?
Hmm?
Which one is two?
That's the one with Caroline Williams, Stretch, and Dennis Hopper,
Okay.
and they're in
Okay.
the amusement park underground.
I thought so.
Yeah, but I am a tiny bit curious of that one that came on Netflix. I might have to just see what it looks like. I mean, I've seen a review or two, but I
Right.
want to, see because weirdos like us that concentrate on horror. I'd like to see what the dialogue's like. What's your backstory here? You don't need it, but and the Jeepers Creepers, the new one that came out, that supposedly is horrible.
Yeah. They made the creature different too.
That's what I heard, and it's like a weak story or kind of just weird, which
Well, it's
fine. They're all
supposed to
kind of
be a
weird.
prequel. It's supposed to be a prequel from the Justin Long one.
From the first one,
Yeah.
a prequel just okay.
Like
I
his
didn't hear that
origin of
one.
how
So.
he started.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope they don't use that word in there. I hate that. Something
Mm.
origin says we get Wolverine flashbacks. Ah, you put Mr. LeBeau in the movie and you made the movie really really strange CGI weirdness, but they did come here in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we haven't seen the Candyman 2020 movie.
No.
I don't know where it is, where to find it. I mean, we can obviously, but I don't know what
Yeah. I
service it's
haven't.
on, or because these days you can't rent a movie. Maybe if you
No.
go to Redbox. I didn't hear great things about that one, but I didn't hear terrible things either. Um, what movie we need to see? The Invisible Man. It's not a remake, but the newest one.
Mm.
I heard it's pretty good, pretty tense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you saw on the community tab, and for anybody who can go look, I put which of the old school monsters is your favorite. So I'll ask you real quick between, the werewolf, the mummy, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. Who's your favorite?
Um. I'd have to go with Frankenstein.
Okay. Mine is the creature from the Black Lagoon because dark water is terrifying. Don't like when if you can't see the bottom, it's a little weird. But
Right. Well, you can't
and
see the bottom in our lake either.
and I don't swim in the lake, do I? We got that black water out there, but no, like because also he can go underwater and on land.
Mhm.
Maybe I can outrun Frankenstein's monster. Dracula, uh, you have some defenses. The Mummy, not too fast. Werewolf, that's terrifying. He's quick, but it depends though which lore. If you got the one where the moon does it, you have a couple weeks in there to plan
Right.
something. Um, you were mentioning one of your coworkers was asking for a good zombie movie. I would like a really good vampire werewolf. Not together. This is not. Uh, what was that movie with the girl in the leather?
Oh, Underworld.
I knew, yeah, like that was putting the two genres together. But the last time they tried like the Wolfman, remember they redid it with what's his name? I can't say it. Anthony Hopkins was in it, and it
Yeah.
was like a remake, or well, not a remake, but a retelling of the old one. So it was set in the 1800s.
Mm.
Benicio del Toro, that's who it was, and he was the werewolf, and uh, Anthony Hopkins was his dad, and he was a werewolf. Remember that?
Yeah.
It wasn't that good, and it didn't do well. But look at movies like Van Helsing. It was cool, great lore, looked good, a little ridiculous at times, but I see what they were going for. I saw that in the theaters too.
Mm.
Didn't you?
No, I saw that on TV.
Well, you know, I was like, oh, once, you know, you go back far enough. For me and Max, zombies were always huge, but vampires, the classic ones, we always respected those. Also, I'm actually older than Michael Myers as far as the movie goes. I always say I'm older than Halloween, but younger than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974. So you can do some
Mm.
math. Um, you know, we get we especially got to watch Freddy and Jason and Michael, and they were still old enough. Friday 13th was 1980, and then Nightmare was 84. So we got to see it do its comeuppance. Luckily, we did get like Kane Hodder as Jason, the best Jason for all
Right.
accounts. But now I didn't mind him fighting Kerry. That was they wanted Kerry versus Jason. It was Tina. But by the way, the girl who played Tina with the psychic powers was supposed to come back for the beginning of Takes Manhattan, and she was going to bite it. It's kind of like Alice in the second one.
Mm.
I love fun facts. Um, Now, as we move into, because it's almost 9, and so 3 hours, and we're gonna hit All Hallows Eve. Now, there's many debates on the so-called twilight hour, or the haunting hour, witching hour. I've heard 3 o'clock a lot. I've heard midnight. I've heard 2 o'clock. I just say while it's dark. How about that? So from midnight till the sun rises, as Connell Cochran would famously say, the barriers will be down, you see, between the real and the unreal. And they'd be looking in. And that's why we put on costumes to scare them away. Blah, blah, blah.
Uh,
Solid. But, you know, I wish I could have got my hands on a Silver Shamrock mask. But, nah. That didn't work out. Too expensive still. Even the little buttons, you can buy them for like $5. But if me and Mr. D get to make our little short film, we're gonna use it. I'm gonna make it really cool. Um. So,
Hmm.
trying to think what else was on the brain. Um.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you consider the Saw movies horror?
Who?
Saw.
Oh, Saw. Yeah, because of the gore. That's like saying Hellraiser. You know, it's gory and there are demons, but they don't like run around and chase you. They'll walk after you and make the walls bleed. But Saw, the first one, was great because it wasn't just about the traps. Later on it became torture porn and birthed the movie Hostel. Those
Hmm.
guys kind of got their ideas from that, and that's just torture porn. But, you know, some people put Jigsaw in the pantheon with the pig's head and the red and black robe, but John Kramer, long gone. Now, people carried on his work, and we still need to see Spiral.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be connected in some way. I've heard good things, only good things. I heard it's a little slow at times, but what is it? And it's also, you got to remember, the first Saw, half of it was a mystery that cops were trying to figure out. Danny Glover's character, you
Hmm.
know, and Mark Wahlberg's character. Eventually, those were cops,
Right.
and you had the cop side of the story. And that's what I think. Two is my favorite in that bunch. You have a bunch of people in a house. It's like the R-rated version of Clue.
Right. And it was Donnie Wahlberg, not Mark.
Sorry, what's the difference? They look the same. One's a
No, they
blue
don't.
blood. They all sell hamburgers.
Yes, they do.
Hey, I enjoyed the New Kids concert when we went. It was excellent with a
Now I
little
want to go
salt
on
and
the
pepper
cruise.
over here. What?
I want to go on the cruise.
Oh, they
On
had
the
their
New Kids
own
cruise.
cruise.
Yeah.
And Motley Crue had it. I think Queensryche had a cruise. Megadeth had a cruise. I think Iron Maiden had a cruise. It was kind of the thing to do for a while. But
Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck on a boat just to go see a concert. I mean, I'm sure,
Well, they
obviously.
don't just do they do a concert every night, and each
Which line is it? Is it
interactive with
Carnival?
them. I think so.
How much?
I don't know.
I just thought you might want to take a look, but I mean, I can tell you from my first honeymoon, that cruise was one of the smaller ships, and it was 1,500 for me and her for, the 4 or 5 days.
Hmm.
That's the small ship, and they don't even make that cruise line doesn't exist anymore.
Well, cruises
Um,
nowadays are a lot cheaper. You can go on a cruise for $800.
well, I haven't really priced it because boats aren't my thing. I mean, I'll
It's
do
not
it
my
if
thing
you
either.
want to. Excuse me.
I said it's not my thing either.
Okay.
But
I
I've
want to
never
take.
been on a cruise.
I want to go on the Alaskan.
Yeah.
You go up to Alaska and go see Juneau and the place, not the person.
Right.
But I want to see. If I disappear for a second, I'm just checking.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. We are in those things we put in are in a private chat for some weird reason.
Uh,
Let's see.
yeah, I was looking. It won't let me. When I go to comments, it doesn't let me enter a comment.
Well, it's going on the private chat. I'll have to work that bug out. Heck, the last time we tried this, I tried to get Draven from Draven's Crypt. Shout out to his channel. Great guy. He's in the Trauma family, plays guitar. But that's when I couldn't get me and him on the board at the same time. Like he
Right.
came in, and no matter what I pressed, it was kind of embarrassing. And he later went on to say, small channels. I'm like, well, it's funny. I was on a podcast for what, a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then me and Hannah did all those shows, and rarely any problems like that. It was black cloud. Like, hey, you want to have another guest? No, but
Right.
if we get this up and running, and things go well. There's a couple people I do want to interview, just like I did with you, and ask them some questions. And oh man, I can't. I'm gonna try something. So let's see. Am I upside down or I'm right side up? Okay.
No, you're upside right.
Put it on the side because I want to see something. Yeah. This is the tab button. Yeah, I know that. Let's see. Okay. How about this? I'm gonna put an Obi-Wan Kenobi in there. Ah, there we go. Okay. If you do you see at the bottom it says Mike Cam Guest More?
Yeah.
If you press more, it should say post comment at the top.
Okay, he left me. Well, we'll wait. No, it doesn't say that. It says comment setting cancel.
All right, mine said post comment. And you see my comment in there?
Yeah, I see your comment in there.
It says hello there. But okay, well, I don't know, maybe because I'm running the room. It's been a while. Last time I met, uh, we had laptops and
Yeah.
all kind of stuff going for us on that one. But no, I mean, look, this is working. I'm glad. We're trying to give back to our new subs and some of the fans, but we're at a disadvantage because we don't do drama. Drama gets you a lot of subs and people real quick, but we don't like making fun of other people. We're trying to spread love and happiness through horror of all things. But horror is one of those things. The horror community is the best community I've ever been in. You have the Bigfoot community, the drama community, the religious thing, and religion and the Bigfoot community cut your throats. Like harsh, harsh, harsh. Horror, everybody seems to love each other. It's really strange that things about murder and blood bring us together. Cheers to all my horror fans out there. But so yeah, if you're a guest and you see this live or you see it later, and we're going to keep trying this or this and that, go in the comments. Tell us your favorite horror movie or the last movie you've seen. Just give us something, and we'll love to do a show talking about it. And I always invite some people because I'm trying to spread it, but it's the day before Halloween. There's a lot of people I saw were live. I showed you David versus the movies. Great guy, great couple. He, by the way, Mrs. M, when he watched Halloween 4 and 5, he got it. He got all the little what?
I said good.
You gotta stop that, honey. Every time I do one word, you're like, good, yeah. I don't know what you're saying, but okay. Yeah, that's how I got to talking to him. I was in the comments. I'm like, wow, you pointed out something that only, a few of us got. And I love that. That's why I watch people like we all do. Somebody first watching, it's like, will they get it? Will they get what I like? And he did, but that's not why I watch. That's just why I watch people because I've seen people, and I will leave their names out, but they were first watching. What do you call it? A couple people don't like Hellraiser, but I get that. It's not. It's an acquired taste. But Phantasm, they were watching that. Remember that movie with the floating balls,
Um, which
the,
one?
the silver balls that fly around and stick you in the
Oh,
head.
okay, yeah, yeah.
They were somebody was watching that and they're like, "This sucks. I can't. Well, this is horrible." And it's like, well, it's low budget. And it was for the time, and we like it. Obviously, Halloween 3. Not many people enjoy that, but I do. Um, it is a slow burn. But then again, like people like the Blair Witch Project still to this day watch it and go,
Oh, that
"This
thing
is
made
kind of
me nauseous.
spooky."
That movie made me nauseous.
Oh, I know. Let me finish. That's what happened to when I went to see that opening night with my ex-wife there. She's like, "This is terrible." And I get it; it's motion sickness. But my problem, like a lot of horror people, was the story. Like you could have called it "People Lost the Map in the Woods and Disappeared." You
Yeah.
can't have, and they tricked everybody. Literally, people thought because if you remember, the History Channel put out a mockumentary about that, and
Yeah.
the places were real, and there is a real Bell Witch in history. Not the same story you hear in the movie, but the same area, I believe. Also, I haven't seen the sequel or I don't know if it was a remake, but the new Blair Witch that came out just a couple years ago.
Mm.
I, I've seen some of the Book of Shadows ones, but not enough to really give an opinion. But yeah, the key to that first one was just like Paranormal Activity. It cost not a lot to make it, and harder you always make your money back a little bit. Um, Again, Halloween 3, people call it a failure, but it cost like 3 million to make, and it made like 14 million. So it tripled and more its budget. So it wasn't a bomb, but critically it bombed. So I think it's harder than ever to do something to do something new in horror. Possible. Everything's been written or done. That's why they're remaking or rebooting everything left and right.
Mm.
Um, and they keep thinking we got to up the gore and up this and just maybe give your draft of your movie another look over. Give it to the guy next to you to read. Maybe somebody can proofread it, but look at Halloween Ends. What you saw is what they wanted to do. He admitted
Yeah.
that was the plan. I don't believe that, but they say COVID happened. They couldn't film the movies back to back. They had less people in that last movie, so whatever. I don't know. We all know what's wrong with it. And hey, they got to make it, but why put in all those Easter eggs in 2 movies to just make something? Anyway, they did it. We were worried when we heard Danny McBride, but he's a great writer, and we can tell where some of the jokes come from in the movie.
Yeah.
But again, like I found him a little too violent. Like in the first 2018 one, he drops the teeth over the stall to the girl in the bathroom. That's not something Michael would do. He put a sheet over him to pretend to be somebody else. He ain't ripping out jaws and stuff. Like, whatever. David Gordon Green also said Michael is human in his trilogy. And no, he's not.
No, because
He
he
would have
get
led to.
killed.
Right. He got jumped
They were
and
beating him up, and they came back
beaten
and
half to death. Well, Karen put a pitchfork in his back and a knife. That would have paralyzed him at the least, you
right.
know. But I guess they didn't want to admit, like, yeah, that's an immortal character. They didn't have to kill Karen either. Spoilers, anyway. Um, by the way, a couple other remakes that just crossed my mind. Like, remember they remade The Fog with Selma Blair,
Yeah,
and it was, you know. They redid Psycho shot for shot with Vince Vaughn. That was a little aggravating.
I didn't see
Like,
the remake.
it's not a remake. It's the same movie with just different people. It's line for line, word for word, shot for shot. Everything's the same, except it's Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche. Which didn't she pass?
Yeah,
Sad. She was young. What was that movie she played somebody's sister out in the woods? What?
I think
Right?
she was in her 60s, was she not? Or late 50s.
Right. That's not old.
What were you asking? What,
I don't remember now. Oh,
some of that
Anne Heche
sister
was in a
movie?
Oh, she was in, I think, wasn't it I Know You Did last summer? They went and visited
Yes,
her to ask her something.
yes, because she was
Nah.
apparently the sister of the guy they hit.
Yeah, I just remember her being like all dirty out in the trailer park or something, which is fine. I mean, let's face it, we all know Kevin Williamson from Dawson's Creek helped write Halloween H2O, which is why you see Scream in that movie. He helped write that. Uh, I think some of the Scream parts, I don't know. And that's what, and I Know You Did last summer. So you get like the same formula, just a
Mm,
different area, different killer, if you will. And I didn't, I kind of liked the basis for I Know What You Did last summer. Like, they killed somebody, wasn't their fault, didn't want to
right.
deal with it, so it came back to bite them in the butt. Not, there's other stories like that, but it was fresh for us when it came out. I was like, oh, this is neat. And then we got stuff like The Ring in our time, like that was new, spooky. I liked it because the whole movie's like gray. It's gray outside the whole movie.
And that
But
one we just watched, One Missed Call, he sounds
yeah,
just like the
yeah.
room.
Again, great. They got I call the girl from First Night, but also she was in 40 Days and 40 Nights with Josh Hartnett.
Yep.
But she was good. The cop, who's famous actor, he was good. The CGI was bad. That's all because it was too early. Same with Boogeyman. Great. I enjoyed it. It's just the way they shot it was kind of like seizure inducing. But other than that, I didn't mind it. Now I was looking through some of the movies. Fear.com's in there. I don't think we've seen that
Yeah,
one. I've
I've
heard
seen
of
it.
it.
I've seen it when it first came out, but I can't tell you anything about it.
Well, that's why we watch them. I still need to see Unfriended, which I based my mini movie I was going to make with Ray and them, but I haven't seen that yet, and I want to check it out. But it's not. When I look up movies we want to see, you got to pay everything.
Mm,
Sometimes you get lucky and it's on Tubi or Vudu. Now, I mean, look at Hellraiser's on Hulu, and Prom Night's on Tubi. But at least Hulu didn't make Hellraiser. Tubi, it seems it said Terror Train is a Tubi movie, like it's made by, not
right,
by
like
them,
a
I guess.
TV original.
And it's like, well, Tubi has commercials. Like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah, but
It's
is it
fun.
all of them? Does everything have commercials, or is
I'm
there?
pretty sure because if it's free, they got to put commercials. Well, we can look it up and try. I was watching a movie called Ghost House from 2017 because Scott Taylor Compton's in it, and I was trying to check out more of her performances. She has a good list that you wouldn't, realize when you look her up. But I was
Mm,
trying to find, and that's on Tubi. But yeah, I haven't watched enough to say. I think the commercial. I thought the commercials were always there because that's what it was.
Well, like, who is it? Like Paramount Plus, they have commercials, but their movies don't. So,
But just the shows.
yeah,
What's the one?
I don't know.
What was the
Something with,
one recent with Kevin Costner and they're all cowboys? Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, I
That's
mean stuff like
coming.
that. I assume there's commercials.
Well, yeah, but with the Hulu, I don't have commercials. And no, because
Well,
the 1883 didn't have commercials.
yeah, that I would have thought since that was like their own show. But y'all seem to like it.
Mhm.
My mother didn't want anything to do with the prequel. She's like, I don't want to go back to the Civil War and all that. I'm like, well, that's what the story is about.
Yeah, that's not what it's about. But there's a
Well,
lot of cursing.
whoopee. People cussed back then.
Well, I know that.
Hmm.
I said I know that.
I laughed. I giggled.
Oh,
Yeah. I not in a mean way. Like, yeah. So I'm trying to think. We have to finish the Hellraiser for sure, and
yeah.
then there was something else. There's really not that much new. I don't even know when that Terror Train thing was happening. I just found the trailer and showed y'all. Like right now, Black Adam's the big movie out. I don't know if you want to go see that or anything. But I
Which
can
one?
wait. Black Adam.
Uh, I mean, I'll see it. That's fine. We can go
We
do
can
that.
wait though. I'm at the theater.
Yeah, when's it coming out? Or is it out?
It's out. Mr. D went and saw it without us, as usual.
Of course.
Uh, it's his prerogative. It's his money. I don't. He
Hmm.
had the bum a ride, obviously. He
Right.
enjoyed it and didn't spoil it for me, but shared some of the cool Easter eggs because we're Doctor Fate fans and he's in there and the
I'm
Atom
assuming he went
Smasher.
to the theater in Kenner.
I didn't ask, but I'm pretty sure that's where he goes all the time.
Yeah.
But I think the next thing for us, I don't know if you want to see Black Panther 2, but that and then Ant-Man movie.
Yes, I
That's
do
our
want to see
superhero
Black
thing.
Panther.
You want to see what?
I do want to see Black Panther.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too, because another Iron Man, Iron Heart,
Yeah.
Riri Williams. And there's rumors that Doctor Doom will appear or Storm from the mutants because,
Hmm.
well, which is funny because in the comics she married T'Challa, but they had to. We've seen the trailers. There's funerals obviously for him and that,
Right.
and Shuri's in the suit, so that happened in the comics. They also had an uncle who took up the mantle here and there because look in the comics, T'Challa did die once and went to see Bass in the afterlife or whatever. Um, they showed that afterlife world in the movie, but I am curious how what they're gonna say. Like, did he pass in battle and we didn't see it, or because poor guy passed in real life. So.
Right.
Oh, and R.I.P. Leslie. I can't believe that happened.
Oh yeah.
For anybody, that's Beverly Leslie, or whatever, from who played a straight man in Jason Goes to Hell.
Mhm.
That's one of the last things I saw him in, but hilarious. It's
Well,
sad, but he wasn't young.
he did American Horror Stories, The Coven, the one that was here.
See, I haven't caught any of that, just reviews of it. But
Well,
was
that
he
was the
was in
one that
that?
I was watching.
No, I know, but you saw him.
Yeah, he was one of the witches,
That's cool.
the grand witches.
Is that the one where I remember I showed you somebody reviewed like the first season or so, and like people couldn't go outside because it would kill them, so they were in that house, and then
Yeah, that was Murder House.
you got
He got murdered in the house. He stay in the house.
one of the Quicksilvers,
Yeah,
Evan Peter John, whatever,
yeah. I know who you're talking about.
the WandaVision Quicksilver, the X universe, but he's in the MCU. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I did hear Tony Stark might return as a hologram
Well,
because in the comics that's what he is now. He's it's a suit, but it's a blue head. He's an avatar of his own self because he's in a coma.
huh.
You see,
Oh,
after Civil War II, Carol Danvers punched him into a coma. I can't wait for the movie The Marvels. By the way, that's going to have Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel,
mhm.
and two other female characters. I forgot, but they're not obviously a Marvel. But hey, they said Miss Marvel's a mutant, but hey, we're not here for that.
Right.
Although we can't shy away from comic books because uh, Hellraiser has some really good comics that really expands on it. They have uh, there's apparently a comic that tells you how Jason Voorhees got from Manhattan back to Crystal Lake, and there's a continuation of the space one, which Todd Farmer, who wrote it, helped write it, and is in it,
Mhm.
wrote a trilogy. So at the end of Jason X, it said to be continued. That's not a joke, but the money didn't pour in, so
Right.
Freddy versus Jason happened. Which, we all have our thoughts on that. I enjoyed it. I figured if they wouldn't have done like the pinball machine joke and Freddy being just obnoxious, that would have been awesome. The second fight was cool, and Kelly Rowland
Mm.
got your nose. Fun fact, and I mentioned this to you, but this is for anybody. But the main girl, Lori, in Freddy versus Jason, in the Never Sleep Again documentary, uh, tells how Freddy was in real life scared the heck out of her as a kid, like most of us. And
Mhm.
the fact that she got to kill that character was very relieving for her. Like, she faced him, cut his head off in that universe. Not that, how do you kill a dream demon? How do you kill a zombie Jason or a deadite Jason? Who knows? You know? By the way, since the Necronomicon from Evil Dead is in Jason Goes to Hell, the theory that came out is that Mrs. Voorhees read from the book and brought Jason back.
Hmm.
I mean, that's interesting, but they didn't even, it was just a nod. Like, in that movie, there's a box that says Arctic Expedition Julian Carpenter. And it's like a reference to the thing.
Mm.
And that's all it is a little nod. And we don't know who Julia Carpenter is because I don't think he's married to anybody named that. And he has a son, not a daughter, and a grandson. But whatever. Just fun fact.
Yeah.
All right, we are at the hour and 15-minute mark. So uh, I'm going to kind of wrap it up. A couple people did pop in for a second, but hey, that's better than nothing. But
Right.
if we get this live back on our feet, we can start trying to do some Saturday nights maybe again, get Max in here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to go back to jotting down horror news as I see it and maybe give some updates. I don't know. This whole channel was for fun to make people laugh, and everybody's busy, hurt, or dealing with something. Eh, but that's why on the channel I bootlegged audio from songs. I'm trying to get some anal orifice songs, but they're all on CD, and I don't know how to get that into. We have a laptop with no disc thing.
Yeah, but the one that I just fixed has a disc.
The what one?
The one I just fixed,
Oh, I didn't know you
the
fixed
big
one.
one, the big bulky one.
Not the red one, the other one.
No, yeah, the other one, the black one.
Okay. Oh well, if we can do that, my goal for that bootleg stuff was to put some analorifice on there and let that shine, because that's one of the only ones where we recorded on a 4-track with every instrument. But it's for the people. Hey, Valium has like 50 views. That's a lot for just a crazy song Max and I wrote a million years ago and played 30 years ago. No, I was 15. So yeah, 35 years ago. Isn't that neat? What, 30 years?
That's a,
What? Are you speaking?
33 years.
Okay. Right. Yeah, 92, 93. Both Carnival and Primal Justice, those bands were back to back. Like, they bled right into each other. But that's all other stuff, what we've been doing on this channel, all the videos, I always said, hey, tell us what you think, tell us this and that. Not a lot of feedback. We had that one guy who said my voice sounds like a bomb in war or whatever. But, and look, we have got a lot of cool comments, a lot of nice people, some bad, but a lot of nice people. And that's all it is. If we can make one person laugh or smile, I'm fine with that. But I'm going to consider this a success. We came out as planned. We did, roughly an hour and 20 minutes, just setting up what's going on. And hopefully we get some feedback and people want more, and we can talk about what they want, If you're watching this, put in the comments. But, so we're going to end on a high note. Coming to you on the eve of Halloween. Happy Samhain to everybody. From me, Colonel Chubbs, and
Mrs. M.
that's right. Till next time, over and out, everybody. Be safe. Have fun.